No, I didn't like any of those school English.
Hmm?
Yeah, there was too much of, grammar and tests.
I believe there's so many students who don't like English like I was. Like, is there any things that you want to tell them?
Yeah, right.
What if you will not be able to use English or
Mhm.
understand English now?
Yeah.
What your life would be? Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Again, I'm Nori and I'm a type of person who believes that English is a tool to expand one's view and change one's life. I know there's so many students in Japan who don't find any meanings or values in studying languages. So all I can do is introduce people who are willing to or eager to study languages. So today we have another guest. Could you introduce yourself?
All right. Thank you for having me today. My name is Sina. I'm from the same university that Nori is currently going. Actually, currently I'm working as an so-called English consultant, which is not exactly a teacher, but rather somebody who helps English learners to learn English.
Yeah.
And for my other information, I'm practicing piano and everything. And actually, yeah, I learned programming in English and Japanese too, which I think we will talk about later. Okay, I think that's pretty much. Oh, by the way, maybe anybody who's watching this might be wondering, oh, this guy is not a Japanese, but actually I'm Japanese, biologically half Iranian, but Iranians don't speak English as first language, so that doesn't count. So my English is purely learned in schools, not in family. Okay.
Thank you for explaining it, because when I first met you, I think it was during a class when I was a freshman English student. You visited our class as a teacher assistant. You were speaking very, very, very fluent English, so I was like, oh, maybe he's not a Japanese person. So yeah.
I'm trying to look like that, acting like I'm doing well.
He's Japanese. Okay, thanks so much. So I think most of viewers are wondering, how did you improve your English?
I think my English learning has been two-sided. Of course, I went to the university where English learning is a major thing to do, so that was a huge part. I wouldn't be this okay with English without going to the university and measuring English. However, at the same time, I liked English not as language learning on its own, but rather I liked using English to do something. My very first motivation to learn English by myself, not as high school test, junior high test, or any examinations. The pure motivation that I had as an English learner was to learn rules for board games, which are not translated into Japanese. So I just searched the meanings and I used the dictionaries and tried to figure out what the rules are. I'm a board game nerd. Yeah, that was a pretty big part in learning English, and there was a lot more difficult language in the rule books, more than those textbooks we're using in the classes. So that kind of helped me learn, vocabulary and grammar. The speaking fluency, or just in general communicative skills, or totally developed in the university, because there were places where we can stay and talk to anybody in English. So I tried to put myself in that area as long as possible, and I spent a pretty much long time speaking English. So I think that's why I can kind of speak okay.
I think everybody has surprised about it. When was the first time you started figuring out the ways to use English? Like you told me that you learn like English vocabularies or grammars to figure out the rules of board game.
I guess that was mainly high school. Yeah, probably the time I started reading in English.
Why you started playing the board game that you needed to use English? Because when you go to the store, now we have Lofto or other shops
yeah.
that sells board games stuff. But I don't see any board games that requires English skill.
Yeah, exactly. That's because you're talking about regular people who play board games. But I was a little more nerdier than that. Chess and other, those kind of like, typical board games their rules are universally shared, so we know how to play. Even in Japanese, I got a board game as a Christmas present that was translated in Japanese. Yeah, I enjoyed that so much. And the board game had a catalog inside the box. That was the time I realized, there are tons of very looking cool board games out there. However, there are only a few that were actually translated in Japanese, but I was eager to play them because they looked so fun. So that was the reason why I was interested in learning rules in English.
All right, thanks so much. That's very interesting. Because when I was junior high school student, I really hated English.
In a way, me too, actually. No, I didn't like any of those school English. Yeah, there was too much of grammar and tests. Yeah, whenever tests is involved, I don't like it. So
how did you get through like junior high school English or high school English?
it was okay, just like as other subjects. Yeah, for English classes, I didn't have any special emotion to it. I was feeling that English is probably the best subject I can do. I can most likely get high scores.
So I can see that you learn some English to have some fun, a board game. But were there any other ways that made you want to learn English more?
The people around me when I was in university were a big motivation. Like other people were interested in learning English, so I was feeling more motivated because of those people. They even try to get high score on TOEFL paper version, by the way. For other reasons outside school, YouTube is a big part. Yeah,
I love it.
I like funny things, comedy shows. I like comedies. That was a motivation to use language. And when I don't understand, I try to understand the joke. And then I search. That makes me learn something and ended up learning more things. Even though I didn't really mean to, let's learn something from this video, but rather naturally, like you do when you're watching TV. Even in Japanese, if you come across some language or any terms that you don't know, maybe you search on the internet for the meaning. I did the same thing. Like, I didn't understand this word, so I searched that. It means this. So that's another knowledge.
Is there anything that you still remember? I'm talking about comedy stuffs. You told me that you found some jokes interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost impossible to make it in English, but it's very mottanai if I didn't learn English, because some jokes or the way you express things can only be understood in that language sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, even in Japanese, like some people saying something in Kansai-ben makes it fun, but if you translate that to Tokyo dialect, that doesn't deliver exactly the same funniness. So that's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So there were some expressions that I found very interesting or very funny that can never be translated in Japanese to purely enjoy that comment.
Thank you so much. I have a big question. What if you will not be able to use English or understand English now?
Yeah.
What your life would be?
It could be just very limited in terms of enjoyment. I don't even want to imagine living without even knowing many of those YouTube channels or YouTube shows that I enjoy currently. I enjoy things in Japanese too, but that's not even an exaggeration. Maybe the 50% of the things I enjoy is in English. So I would 50%, if I hadn't learned English.
So this is the final question. As I told you, when I was a junior high school student, I hated English so much. Like all the tests I took were like under 20 scores. I think it's not that bad, but I believe there's so many students who don't like English like I was. So could you give some comments, or like is there any things that you want to tell them?
Yeah, right. So that's very difficult question. There's no general answer to it. If you're lucky, probably you can find something not exams that makes you interested in learning language. Until you find something like that and you don't like the subject, I don't think there's a way to like it. You can't like something just because you have to do it. For example, I didn't like math. I ended up not liking math until I graduated. I don't like math now, but that's the same thing. If you don't enjoy English and if you don't have any purpose, maybe you shouldn't try too hard to like English in the first place. However, I believe at some point you can find something interesting in English. So for example, me learning board game rules in English was more accidentally. I didn't do it because I had to learn English. The ordering is the other way around. I wanted to learn the rule, so English came. And I got interested in English, and after that I majored English, and that became a stronger motivation after all. However, the original motivation cannot be, I think, artificially made. However, I could recommend to you guys some of the things I enjoy in English. There's some possibility that you enjoy the TV show, even though you don't understand. Sometimes you just enjoy the atmosphere, even if you don't understand 100%.
All right, thanks so much. There's one thing I lied to you. I said that was the last question, but I came up one more thing. What is English to you?
It's a language. I think like many people have said that too. A tool that I use to do something else. As long as English is the subject you have to do for no reason. I'm interested in grammar and pronunciation, but that doesn't make me learn English anymore. I feel like English as a tool that I enjoy stuff in English. I talk to someone from other country. The way you learn rules of board games, or you learn something on the internet. I heard most of the information on the internet is in English. Let's say, for example, I've just recently started learning programming for fun as a hobby. You can find Japanese information, tutorials, but you can also find English ones. And sometimes English explanations are very clear and understandable, and in that way, like, there's a very useful tool to learn something. That will be the repeating, that learn something or enjoy something, just to understand something. So yeah, I would say that's pretty much a tool for me right now.
Yeah. All right. I had a really good time with you.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Me too.
I think your experience definitely stimulates Japanese students who started liking English or still have no values in studying English, other languages.
I think for those who don't value English, I think that's okay. But there are many things in the world. For example, music, something for me that was board game, TV dramas. In some way, you expose yourself to English, but happen to be translated in Japanese. That could be very small stimulation. Maybe we should cut this part. Sorry.
Okay, thank you so much for today. I hope this video really helps you in terms of learning languages. And I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
See you guys.
Yeah.
Here's